It is Friday, September 6th, 2024. This is another edition of Baseball Today, presented to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan along for the ride as well, as we get you all set for another fun-filled baseball, huge sporting weekend. Are you ready, sir?
I am ready. There are some good series. I know we're going to talk about that
Mhm.
in a little bit. Unless you took that one out, I'm not sure. You usually switch up the questions on me. But no, there's a lot of good baseball. A lot of good baseball just happened this week. I thought there's some really good series,
Yes.
some good endings to them as well. But yeah, man, football's great. I love football as much as anybody. But this is still baseball season, people. Let's go.
Heck yeah, let's go. We got 3+ weeks to go. And a quick reminder, today's episode of Baseball Today is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. They provide shots that help you feel alert and energized. Every shot packed with vitamins, nutrients, and about as much caffeine as the leading premium coffee. Here's something else you're going to love. It contains zero sugar. So what do? You drink it in seconds. You're going to feel it in minutes. It will last for hours. It's available in a wide range of great flavors across regular strength and extra strength varieties as well. So head on over to 5hourenergy.com. Use that code JOHNBOY. You're going to save 20% off your first order. Once again, that is the number 5hourenergy.com. Code JOHNBOY. Save 20%. And coming up at the end of the show, our 5-Hour Energy question of the week, which I love this week. It's really, really good. Tip of the cap, non-baseball related. Happy 27th anniversary to my beautiful bride, Michelle. So there you go. 27 years, my friend.
That's amazing. I aspire to be where you guys are at. I love your relationship. You are a mentor to me in many different ways, one of them being a good husband and a good father. I appreciate you setting the example for everybody. And
Right.
I love Michelle. She's
Good one.
great. People always say, oh, you got to put up with Chris Rose. You must be an angel. You're a great guy to her. She's lucky to have you. Usually I'm all on Michelle's side,
Yeah.
and you are lucky to have her as well. You guys are lucky to have each other. You guys
Thank
fit
you.
together perfectly. I love it. Great relationship. My favorite thing is getting to wave goodbye to Michelle when we go on our 5:30 adventures to the
That's
airport.
true. That's true. Or when you drop me off and it's like 11:30 at night and she comes out to, that's very sweet. You're right. We are fortunate. We're going to have a great weekend. And she puts up with a lot of weird stuff. I'm a strange guy. What can I say? It's okay. You got to know who you are. I'm a weirdo. It's okay. Not that weird, but I mean, like, some strange. I talk to myself a lot. I do
27th
I do
anniversary. You guys
weird
like got
voices.
dinner plans or something?
No, we just went to Vegas last week for the hot dog eating contest. So we were there, did a couple of those. We got a couple of big trips coming up as well.
Take her to
So,
dinner, Chris. Let me be
uh,
your mentor.
I know. Offline discussion on that one.
Okay.
Offline discussion. I get to rarely wear a Guardians cap on this show, but I wear it proudly when I do because they are taking on the Dodgers. So both these teams mere percentage points away from being the top seed in each of their respective leagues. Now, a few weeks ago, remember Cleveland hit a few speed bumps in their road en route to an AL Central possible crown. We both thought they were kind of done. If they win the series this weekend in LA, does that change your thought on my little cute Guardians?
It doesn't at all. I've thought the same thing about them pretty much since, I don't know, like June. I think that's kind of when I started really respecting what they're doing. They have a formula, Chris. Like,
Mhm.
they have a formula. They have zagged when everybody else has zigged. I think them and the Brewers have done the exact same thing this year. And it's not easy to do. I don't think you can really plan on doing it. Both these teams are very athletic. I'll just talk about the Guardians now. They're very athletic. They can steal bases. I believe they're tied for sixth in baseball with stolen bases. We know what they do with runners in scoring position. That's the one caveat there, is that you can't really plan on hitting with runners in scoring position. You can have an approach, which I think they do. Contact-oriented hitters that, you have a couple guys in the middle line that can get the job done. But I guess you can have an approach as a team saying, we just want to get that run in. Them and the Brewers both do that very, very well, especially with runners in scoring position, 2 outs. That's where the Guardians really shine. And then it's the bullpens getting it done. They have a formula, and they both play defense.
Mhm.
Now, the Guardians and the Brewers are only bested by the Blue Jays in defensive runs saved. Guardians 85, Brewers 73. So that's their formula, and it's proven to be a winning formula. Run prevention which we've seen some other teams like the Blue Jays go into it, but they didn't have the timely hitting. But the Guardians and the Brewers are so similar, and I feel like we give the Brewers this credit, and they're such a good team, and then we're always kind of like, oh, the Guardians, what are they? But they're the same
Or carbon
team, dude.
copy.
Ask the average baseball fan, name the starting pitchers for either of those teams, and they couldn't do it. I know you or I could do it, and I could barely do it.
By the way,
They
that's
found
Michelle
a
bringing me
formula, so it
my
wouldn't
water.
change.
That only because it's our anniversary. I forgot my water downstairs, and I texted her. She was so sweet. She said the only reason she brought it up was because it's our anniversary. How
That's
sweet
nice.
is that?
I don't believe.
Otherwise, no.
Sweetheart. These two teams are the same, and I feel like we give so much credit to the Brewers and don't do it to the Guardians. But like they have a different formula of winning than everybody else, and that's what these organizations have been doing for what? I don't know.
Yeah, feels like a while.
Decade. They go a different route and they figure it out, man.
Yeah, they have. My thought's not going to change on them because I've watched 99% of their games this year. It's the same thing. Like, you hold on for dear life with their starting pitching, depending on who they're going to throw out there. I mean, if I had told you 2 months ago that Matthew Boyd and Alex Cobb would be pitching critical games for the Guardians, you've been like, well, first of all, what year is it? And secondly, how in the world did that happen? So it is crazy the way that it's gone. But the more I look at it, like they are going to have a formula if they win the division and get a bye to make the American League Championship. It doesn't mean they're going to. Like, their lineup for the most part it's still like Quan. I don't know if people have paid attention here. Quan's second half has been disastrous, and that's too bad. It's basically Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor-ish, and then you hope that a guy like a David Fry or a Kenzie Noel. Lane Thomas has not been good since he's come over.
Yeah, him and Rocchio did it against the Royals.
I know, but I mean, that's what I'm talking about, is that they just have so few guys that you can rely on. Like, out of the 12 teams that are going to make the playoffs this year, they're going to have the worst lineup. They just are. That's going to be a fact. So they're going to have to beat you other ways. But if they take,
they'll have the best bullpen and they'll have the best defense.
Yes, and that's accurate. And so that's how they're going to have to win. It's not sexy with that sort of stuff, but it just means that they're going to have to be up 3-2 after 6 innings and turn it over to Cade Smith, Hunter Gaddis, and Emmanuel Clase, and then hopefully you get wins. But so my thought process won't change whether they lose a series in LA or they win a series. Not going to change. All right. So we got a lot of it. You mentioned it at the top of the show. We got a lot of interesting series going on this weekend. Things that really, really matter. You know, there's teams involved in divisional chases, wild card chases, and even on Thursday night, we had a crazy finish in San Diego.
3-2. In the air, left field side. Profar back at the track, at the wall. Oh my goodness! Parker Meadows did it!
He sure did, Jason Benetti, with a great call. Grand slam for the Tigers, who were down 3-0 against one of the most consistent closers all season in Suarez. And it's not a huge loss for the Padres because they've been playing such good baseball, but it just kind of gets you going like, crazy shit is about to happen, people. Fasten your seatbelts. It does every year. Whenever you go over you play the schedule game from this point forward, you always get screwed. So don't do that, and I'm talking to myself as well. But which series are you most closely watching this weekend?
I think there's 2 that are really good. I'm going to go – well, there's like 3 that are good in my opinion. I'm going to go Astros D-backs for a couple of different reasons. You know, D-backs and Padres are kind of jockeying for position for the for the wild card spot, who's going to host, which is a cool thing to see. I think those are 2 good teams going at it. Could be a possible preview of a World Series. You could talk like that. And also, I want to see how the Astros respond to getting swept by the Reds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the offense wasn't there. They've had some funny things going on. But the first game is a Framber versus Fott. And, can the Astros kind of right the ship? Because we're going to talk about another team shortly. Like, the Mariners are 4 games back of them, 4.5 games back of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the Astros can't afford necessarily to go on. They got to continue to win baseball because the Mariners are 4.5 back. So, the Mariners, who do they play? I just had it up.
They play St. Louis.
Don't
get too much into that series, please.
Yeah, St. Louis has been okay. But yeah, that's the series I'm probably most interested in.
Yeah, and by the way, we act like the Padres and Diamondbacks, because they've both been so good here in the second half, have like a 6 or 7 game lead. It's not that far. It is not that high. So I just had the standings up and then they disappeared on me. What is it? 3 and 2.5 game lead on the Mets and Braves, respectively?
Yes, Padres up 3, Mariners or Diamondbacks 2.5. Then it's Atlanta and the Mets tied for the last one. Then behind them, the Cubs are 4 games. If you want
Right.
to talk about the Cubs,
So it's not like they have played great baseball, and I would be surprised if both of them didn't make it as a wild card, but it's not that far. It's not that far. So just have to be careful with all of that stuff. For me, it is the Seattle Mariners taking on the St. Louis Cardinals in St. Louis. Mariners won the last 2 in Oakland. That included a 16-run outburst. Rodriguez hit one almost 450 yesterday. They need him to get going. He does have an 8-game hitting streak. It's not like he's getting multiple hits every game, but it feels like maybe he can start to get hot. Remember, he carried them last year, the last 2 months of the season. He's got to get going. And you mentioned the Astros taking on Arizona. The Mariners cannot afford to be like 6 back on Monday or something like that, or 5.5. They have to stay exactly where they are. They have to stay within striking distance of the Houston Astros. It's gonna be rough sledding for them. Make it interesting, please. I feel like you wasted an entire year of dominant pitching. Like, enough.
it's a good segue into the next question.
It sure is. Because right now, only 3 teams that are not currently holding playoff positions are within 4.5 games of a playoff spot in either league, right? You've got the Mets, who are actually tied with the Braves. You've got the Cubs and the Mariners. So that means plenty of teams need a baseball miracle to make it, which most likely won't happen. Which team are you most disappointed in this year?
Of those 3 teams, or
No, not of those 3 teams. Of the teams that are probably not going to make it.
Oh, I was gonna say Seattle. It's kind of always my go-to answer for teams I'm disappointed in, because I just think they're wasting this pitching.
Yeah.
So if I can't pick that team,
You can if you want, because if you don't feel
I
like
won't.
Seattle's
I'll pick a different team. The Toronto Blue Jays. I'm consistently disappointed with them. They went for that like defensive-minded approach, but they haven't got any of the offensive consistency or hitting with runners in scoring position or good bullpen or anything like that. They just completely missed. Now they got the defense right, Chris. They're the best defensive team in all of baseball.
Great.
They got it.
Great.
They went for it and they got it. But other than that, they are just absolutely brutal. In any way that you slice it, they're below average. Like it's not good. And a lot of their statistics are buoyed by one guy, and that's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. They're straight up the 15th in OPS with a 710. Again, a lot of that's Vladdy. They don't have anything really working for them except that defense. So I'm disappointed, man. Similar to like the White Sox, where we thought they were going to like go on this run and had this core. Like I feel like the same thing was going on in Toronto, and then it's gone now.
Yeah. So they play the Atlanta Braves this weekend, and that, of course, was my preseason World Series matchup. Boy, I nailed that one again. Woo! Good job, Rose. Pat yourself on the back. Incredible. Go look at the Blue Jays offensive statistics from this year. They are abysmal. Just absolutely horrific on every. And if you cover up the name Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and
that's
then
what I'm
look at the
saying.
rest
You
of the
take
stats,
him out, it's crazy. Right now, Chris, they're 16th in average, 15th in OPS, 17th in run, 23rd in homers, 27th in stolen bases. They're consistently average or below average. And again, it's most of those stats that are making them even close to average is Vlad.
I'll be so curious to see what they do in this offseason. So curious, because they still are paying. They have high price pitchers, right? Between Gausman, Berrios, Bassett. Everybody's like, well, just get rid of Bo Bichette. So you're going to sell low. You're going to go sell the lowest. He is a negative WAR player this year. What the hell are you going to get back for Bo Bichette after 2 injury-ish, unproductive seasons. Good luck with that. I don't know. They got a lot of explaining to do and a lot of soul-searching in the offseason,
Who's
which
your
takes
team?
me to my team, the St. Louis Cardinals. They were 2 back at the deadline. Now they're 5 back, so they're not totally out of it. But when they made the trade for Eric Fetty and Tommy Pham, I was like, okay, let's step on it. Like, you've got proven veterans all over the place. You have the most veteran-laden rotation going. Your 9th inning is solid. Like, this is a team that could step on the gas a little bit, and instead they have sputtered. And not only that, I think they have mishandled a ton of stuff here. They get Pham, then they DFA him. Jordan Walker got sent down and then brought back up and just, I think, had a 5-hit game. Nolan Gorman was shipped out. When that happened, I was like, whoa. And then I looked at his numbers, and it was a sub 600 OPS and everything, and he has just been – it hasn't been good. They traded Dylan Carlson for 3 weeks of Sean Armstrong before they got rid of him. Oh, by the way, Fetty, who we all love the move. I certainly did. I know you liked it too. They've won 1 of his 6 starts, and his ERA is a run and a half higher than it was on the south side of Chicago with baseball's worst team ever created. This has not gone well for the Cardinals, and I think it's not as bad as Toronto, but I think they have to take a serious look at where they are as a franchise. Last year, they had their worst season in 3 decades. This year, it hasn't been great. I don't know, man. Not good. No bueno.
I always think, I mean, when you watch them, I don't know. Sometimes the vibes seem like they're good. You got Lars doing his thing on the top step, and they're still like name brand players there. But yeah, they just hasn't been there for them. And again, like their offensive statistics are middling at best.
At best.
Yeah.
Quick reminder, once again, today's episode brought to you by 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy shots, they help you feel alert and energized. Why? Because they're packed with vitamins and nutrients and about as much caffeine as the leading premium coffee. They have regular strength shot, which is about an 8-ounce cup of joe, and an extra strength in case you'll need a little extra boost. That's the equivalent of a 12-ounce cup of coffee. Here's the nice thing. Contains 0 sugar, Plouffe. I know you love that. So you will drink it in seconds. You're going to feel it in minutes. It will last for hours. It'll take you through the day. It's available in a wide range of great flavors across regular strength and extra strength varieties. The shots are portable, right? They're tiny. They're convenient. They're on the go with you for that feeling of energy whenever you're a little down in the dumps. So head on over to 5hourenergy.com. Once again, you use that code JOHNBOY. You're going to save 20% on your first order. That is the number 5hourenergy.com. Code JOHNBOY. Save 20% and feel energized for the weekend that lies ahead. Weird Thursday for Blake Snell. I didn't know this until I read it last night. I was even watching part of that game, and I didn't even know he had started. I missed the first inning, and he was gone after a 42-pitch first inning where he wasn't great. He walked a couple of batters. He gave up a couple hits, but their defense was horseshit too on top of it. Now, all this came just hours after another Scott Boras client, Matt Chapman, extended 6 years and $151 million to stay by the Bay. So, of course, Snell, who can opt out after this year, was asked about his contract situation following the game.
A deal would be nice, but I think just finishing the season strong, focusing on that is probably most important to me. And then, if that's something they want to talk about, always open to it. I've enjoyed my time here a lot, so I know fans have been hounding me about it, but it's up to them.
Okay, I love it. I love hearing that part. It's up to them. All right, so I'm going to give you 4 options. You tell me which one, A, B, C, or D. A, Blake Snell gets an extension before the season is up, a la Matt Chapman. B, Blake Snell tests free agency and comes back to the Giants. C, Snell tests free agency and goes somewhere else. Or D, Snell takes his $30 million player option for 2025.
I don't think he'll take the player option. Now, I have talked to Snell about this. He does really like it in San Francisco, and I think pitching in San Francisco is great. He's from the West Coast up there in Washington, so I think the NL West suits him really well. I mean, San Francisco is about as close as you can get to his hometown, which is good.
Without playing actually in Seattle.
I mean, I said about as close. Okay,
Kidding.
Chris.
I'm just kidding.
Nobody wants to play on the Mariners, bro.
Whoa.
Just kidding. Seattle, I love you. I love Seattle. They have enough pitching. He's not going to Seattle, okay?
That's true.
The most likely scenario is he tests free agency. I will.
Does what? Does he come back or does he go somewhere else?
If he tests free agency, he's not coming back. I think the Giants have to. If the Giants have to try to get a deal done before the end of the season, and maybe they will. I would love to see that. I think that's my number one option. If I had to choose, like for him and his career, it would be to sign the extension, come back. It doesn't have to be some crazy long extension. I don't think he's looking for that. If they were to give him 2 more years on top of his next year's salary and make it a good price, I bet you he'd sign it. Like,
so
guys
you're
just
saying where it ends up working out to be 3 for $100 million or something?
Yes. I think he'd sign that in a heartbeat. I think he likes pitching there. It would give him a chance to, re-enter free agency again if he wanted to at like 34 or 35, which is not that old for pitchers nowadays, dude. It's just not, Chris.
I know.
We see guys getting signed into their 40s still. That's the only chance I think San Francisco has to bringing him back, I think. But I think the most likely scenario is he tests free agency and does get that deal, a 3 years, 90-ish, something like that somewhere.
He was the NL Pitcher of the Month in August.
Do you know what his stats are, Chris, dude?
All I can tell you is he entered yesterday with a 1.3 ERA in his last 10 starts.
Yes.
That's pretty damn good. Like,
it's a 2.0 FIP as well. Like, this is not some fluke.
Plouffe, he's going to go down as one of the most fascinating pitchers of our generation. He really is, because you pitch and you're like, how the hell do guys get hits off of him? He is so nasty. He is so filthy. He's got a live fastball. His shit breaks hard. And then he's gone by the end of the 5th inning. Like, just bye.
The all-time Ks per 9 leader for a starter. All time.
I wonder how most people are going to see his career.
2-time Cy Young, both different leagues. I don't know, man.
But then a donut hole in the middle of it all. Like,
I want to go say a donut hole.
Go look at his innings pitched those 4 years in between his Cy Young years. How many?
We look at innings pitched differently nowadays, Chris. You know.
I know, but I understand that. But
it wasn't great. I know what you're saying.
What was the most he threw? 130 in any of those 4 years?
128, and then 180 last year.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. In between his Cy seasons, I don't think he got over at 130. Now, I know that the inning stuff has changed, but that's not good enough. When you're talking about a guy of this ability, because it wasn't always about injuries with him. So it's just fascinating. I love watching him pitch, but I could understand how he'd be maddening if he was on your team.
Yeah.
Right? I will answer the question. I think he's going to end up somewhere else, too. And I don't think that's going to be best for him. Like, I worry that that's a little and I know that this is a 3rd different place he's pitched, but I'm worried it could be like a Pablo Sandoval in Boston fit, where it never fits.
Jeez, bro. My gosh.
Well, I'm just worried that if he doesn't end up in the right place, that's the sort of thing. Like, I think with I got
a landing spot for him.
What's that?
Arizona Diamondbacks.
So let's think about this. They just paid Erod $80 million. Christian Walker's coming off the books if they don't up him. Zach Gallen still needs a contract, doesn't he?
This is a 3-year deal. It's fine.
That would be a great place for him.
Yeah.
All I'm saying, I'm not saying that it's going to be disastrous wherever he goes. Don't read that into what I said about Pablo Sandoval. I'm saying I'm worried that if he doesn't end up in the right spot, that's what it could end up being.
Philadelphia Phillies. Oh.
No. He's not going there. He's not going there.
You don't know where he's going. Houston Astros. Oh.
I do. Listen, I hope he gets to free agency because I want to play this game. I just hope he doesn't have to sign another 1+1 or whatever it is that he signed. That's no good. All right, let's get to our 5-hour energy question of the week. We want to thank everybody for doing that. Once again, 5-hour energy. Use that code word John Boy, you're going to get 20% off. Really good questions this week, but this one played near and dear to our hearts because of the time of year it is. Brian Feingold, good job. With football coming back, what city has the best combined football and baseball outlook this year? This is a good question.
I think there's two answers to this one. It's either Philly or it's Baltimore, and I'm gonna go Philly. I'm gonna go Philly because I picked the Phillies to win the World Series. They've kind of been doing it year in and year out. But Baltimore has a very much a strong case for this as well. So I'm gonna go Philadelphia. Eagles right now plus 1,200. They're have the fifth best odds according to the odds makers to win the Super Bowl. So I'll go Philadelphia. I like this question though.
It's a great question. Were you watching last night with any?
I did. I
your
watched
buddies?
the game. Yeah.
With any of your buddies, or was it just family?
What's that?
Who'd you watch the game with?
Oh, I was actually. Teddy has this like battery powered motorcycle. I had to switch the battery out, which is a pain in the butt. So I was doing that while watching the game.
Wait a second. He's 9.
It's a small little motorcycle.
Helmet.
Yeah.
Thank you. Those are good, very good choices. I'm shocked you didn't go with your buddy Matthew Stafford in L.A. Uh-oh.
I picked them to win the Super Bowl, so maybe I should have said that.
Yeah,
but
that's
I'm
exactly
going
what
by
you
the
should have
odds
said.
here. Going by the odds, that's fine.
You're no fun. Sometimes it's good to just go with your heart, which is why I'm going to go with No, I'm going to go with, but you have to work with me on this one. The city of Milwaukee and Green Bay.
Okay.
Can we play those two together, even though they're not the same city?
I don't think that's the right answer to the question, but you can pick whoever you want.
That's fine. Go Brewers. I'll be rooting for you. People think I hate the Brewers. I don't hate the Brewers because, as we mentioned earlier, you're the National League version of my team. And I did pick the Green Bay Packers to win the Super Bowl this year. I don't know why.
The Brewers and the Guardians, I'm sorry to get off this question. The Brewers and the Guardians are exactly the same team. Except the Brewers probably have a little bit better offense. I don't know, man. Pat Murphy first year, Stephen Vogt first year. Both perfect to lead a team. That's crazy how similar they are.
All right, hold on. I don't know. Sorry if this is going to hold on. How far is Milwaukee from Green Bay? Oh God. Why aren't you allowing that? Oh, 121 miles. I didn't know it was that far. There you go. You know that the Packers used to play like 4 games a year in Milwaukee at County Stadium. And they had go look it up. This is crazy. Both teams, because of the configuration of the stadium, stand on the same sideline. So you would have half of it from the 50 down and half of it from the 50 the other way. Now, back when they did this in the 80s, there wasn't the change in defensive personnel like there is today. But imagine if you had like a big fat defensive lineman that had to sprint from like his 40 all the way to a goal line stand the other direction and then try and stop a play. Funny.
Plus, they were all smoking heaters back then.
Oh, yeah. They were. Yeah. Greatest picture ever. Len Dawson, whom they talked about on the Thursday night game. You know, the late Chiefs Hall of Fame quarterback, Super Bowl 1. Go find the photo.
Yeah,
halftime. Smoking it.
With like a Coke underneath them?
Drinking a Coke.
Yeah.
Let's clarify that. All right, dude. Fun, energized show. Great question, Brian. Thank you very much to everybody else who participated. We are back at it again on Monday. Sound good? Awesome. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe, I am Chris Rose. We will see you Monday on Baseball Today, presented to you by 5 Hour Energy. Happy anniversary, Michelle. Love you.